A few weeks ago in my 30-day challenge, I talked about decluttering and how getting rid of the stuff that I had in my house was very uplifting for me. And today I wanted to talk a little bit more about how decluttering actually has affected me both physically, emotionally, mentally, all of that kind of stuff. When we think about clutter and decluttering, a lot of people get frozen because they're like, I love my stuff and I don't want to get rid of it. And that is why it's so difficult, is because we as human beings attach emotions to things. Like your mom gives you a doily that your great grandmother made, back in the 1800s, and it's been passed down from generation to generation. But now it's starting to fall apart, and you think that you don't use it. It just sits in a cupboard somewhere because it's not very pretty anymore. It's kind of dingy, and the threads are wearing off, or it's becoming moth eaten or anything like that. But you don't get rid of it because you think that would make you a bad daughter. That if you don't pass it on to your child, that it's a horrible thing. But that's not true. Like, if it's not serving you and it's not serviceable anymore, it's okay to let it go. It's true with anything that you have. Let's say a friend of yours goes on a trip somewhere and brings you back a souvenir, and you're like, what am I supposed to do with this? You think that it makes you a bad friend if you get rid of it, or if you say thanks but no thanks. It really is the thought that counts. That person likes you enough or loves you that when they were on vacation, they thought of you and thought, hey, I'd like to get them something. And it's not something, for you to think of that country, right? It's for you to think, or city or wherever. It's for you to realize that person cares about you enough that they would think about you when they're gone. But that doesn't mean you have to keep that stuff. You can let it go. It's okay, because you are thinking about them too, hopefully. Remembering that, hey, so-and-so gave me this postcard, or what other souvenir or whatever. If it doesn't serve you, you shouldn't keep it. And that was something that I needed to learn in my journey of getting rid of things. I had stuff in boxes that I have carried around across the country a few times for 20 to 30 years. As stuff from when I was in high school still. And a lot of the things that I carried negative emotions. And I didn't realize that. There was some positive to it, but there was a lot of negative to it. And what I found, that as I took stuff physically out of my house and didn't bring it back in, that weight of negativity was removed from my shoulders. I still, if you can probably hear the echo in the room, because I don't have as much stuff, I'm falling into the realm of minimalism, and I'm liking it. It just made me feel better. It really makes me feel better. And I really realized this a couple of weeks ago when I went to the baseball game. And you're thinking, how does that have to do with decluttering? But it was a major thing for me. I've never gone to a baseball game by myself. Okay, I've always gone with other people, met them there, traveled with them, whatever. I've always had a sense of anxiety of, not necessarily something happening to me, but just having people see me. That's really what it was I think I was using my stuff to hide behind, physically and mentally. And I'm looking over there because the cat's playing with her water. As I've gotten rid of the things, I've gotten rid of those emotions and those anxieties. And I had a great night. I came home early and rested for a little bit, came home from work, rested for a little bit, took care of the cat, had, a little bite to eat. I knew I was going to eat at the ball game. And then I got dressed in what I wanted to wear, and I walked over and caught the dash bus to Union Station, and I got in line for the shuttle bus, and there was a lot of people there, and I started talking to these older ladies that were in line with me, and one of them was a Cubs fan and the other was a Dodgers fan, and it was, really nice to be chatting with both of them. And we rode the bus up to the stadium. We parted ways. I went to my seat and I stopped and I got a couple hot dogs and some water, and was sitting and watching the pregame stuff, watched the game, talked to the people around me, just really enjoyed myself and enjoyed the baseball game. And then, I left and I rode the shuttle back, and I ended up catching another bus, and it was like 10 o'clock in the evening. And, the downtown shuts down, pretty early, about 6, 7 o'clock, maybe 8. And so the only people on the streets were the homeless people and, an occasional other person. But I didn't feel unsafe. I didn't feel like I was in any kind of danger at any point. I walked the 2 blocks back home and came in, and I was like, wow, that was a really good night. And honestly, I do believe that it's because I've decided to let go of the past. I'm cleaning things out, and now I'm in a point, like I said, I'm on the verge of minimalism. I might even be a minimalist. I don't know. I feel like I still have a lot of stuff that... My main objective for reducing the amount of stuff I owned, of course, is because I want to live in an RV. And that was, I look around and I'm like, okay, this has to go, that has to go. And eventually all the furniture will be gone, and all of the unnecessary things. And that's kind of where I'm going to. I'm looking at stuff and I'm like, is this something that I need in my RV? So I'm planning for the future, letting go of the past, planning for the future, and really, really loving the process and loving who it's making me become. I'm much more goal-oriented now. I set goals for myself for the year, for the month, for the week, for the day, and accomplishing those goals, and it's been great. And I think I owe it all to that decision to let go of things. And I hope that you find this of interest, and it will help you with your own decluttering goals. It's a long process. It hasn't been a long process for me, but I was very driven in the beginning, and I got rid of a lot of stuff in the first couple of months. Every step is process. Even if you only get rid of one thing a day, if you get rid of one thing a day, that's 7 things in a week. And if you only bring one thing in a week, then you're ahead by 6. So keep that in mind as you're going through things. Maybe it's one drawer that you're going through and you're getting rid of extra stuff or things that are broken or whatever you have that you don't need anymore. That's, progress. Progress is great. And eventually you'll get to a point where you're extremely happy with what you have and where you're at. If you like this content and you want to see more, please subscribe to my channel. And I thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.